Hi all, welcome back to another session on Mulesoft. So in my first session, I've talked about how we use the variables and what does a mule event or the message consist of, like the header, board, payload, and variables. So I've demonstrated how we use variables, and then we have used the transfer message from by transforming the data received from the HTTP listener, and then we have performed the addition, subtraction, those arithmetic operators. So in this example, I wanted to show you how do we check on the, like, say, SOAP web services. So how MuleSoft handles this SOAP web services. So what I've done is, in the internet, I've searched for sample SOAP web service for testing, and then I've got the first one. So I've taken this WSDL file, and it consists of subtraction and addition in this. So what I'll be going to do is I'll create a new project, and then I'll invoke the web service by exposing my URL instead of the web service URL and see how that works. So let's start. So I'll start creating a new project. I'll say it as SOAP demo. Yeah, and click on finish. This will create a new project, and it creates with the same name also. Yeah. So even if I gave the project name in capital letters, so it has converted everything into small letters here. So this is your SOAP web service, and if you wanted to change the name, you can change it. There is something called refactor, where we'll rename it saying that um, we'll name it as SOAP web services demo. So it will change the name of it. It's only the change of name here. I'm not changing anything. So what I'll next do is I'll double click on this. It opens the editor, and I'll take the palette, which is to listen. So I'll take the listener by dragging and dropping it here. And what I'll do is I'll set the variables, because I know like what variables are needed. So I'll just take two variables that needs to be passed for addition. And for consuming web services, in the modules we have web service module. I'll just drag and drop this here. Yeah. And finally, I'll drag and drop the logger. That's it. So I'll go to listener, and I'll configure the parameters here. Remember, like, I mean, in my first project, I used the 8081. So the port should be unique, but since I closed that project here, so you can still use this product, leaves this port here. So I'll just keep it as so demo. Yesterday, the demo, I didn't use any base path, but I'm going to use it base path and show you how we call it inside the Postman. And click OK. And you need to give the parameters here. I'll path here. So I'll give it as add. And in the advanced, I'll leave it as is. That by default it takes a get post. So let it take it. So once you fill the details, you can see that the red mark has gone away. So here I'll keep it as num1, and in the functions I'll keep it as to extract the header details. You need to use attributes, and I'll be passing it as query params. So I'll use the query params here, and is num1. Same thing. Now the error will go off. See, the red mark has gone off. I'll say num2. Same thing again. Always remember to keep functions here, or else it will not work. attributes dot query params dot num2. Yeah. So now here I need to configure. It says that okay, there are two issues found here. One is I don't have the connector parameters. The connector configuration is not present and the operation is also not present. So what I'll now do is I'll create the configuration, because if I do a drop down, it says to create a new configuration. Either you can do it from here or click on plus. So I'll click on this. So I'll give the WSDL location. It's just that I'll copy paste the same thing and wait for some time. Yeah, it has taken the service from that. And now in the drop down, it should show me the ports. So you can use SOAP 11 or SOAP 12. I'm using the first one. And it also has given me the address all by itself. So click on OK. Yeah. And if you see, the attribute operation is also mandatory. So I'll just click on the drop down, or let me refresh it. It is fetching the metadata keys. So let me refresh and see, it has two things here, add or subtract. I'll click on add. That's fine. And now let me save it. Yeah. So here we have created the variables and we have created the web service, but we are not mapping the variables anywhere. And it expects, if you see here, see the XML expects two parameters here. One is A and B. These are the parameters which we are setting here. So now what we need to do is, in order to do the mapping, we need to call the transfer message. So I'll just drag and drop here. And it shows me these things. See here. So this is the target one and this is the source one. So I'll just drag and drop. See, this is expecting as number, and we have a string here. So the DW stands for data weaving. Data weaving has understood this, and it is converting the output to XML format. And it has, when we map these fields to this, so it has created a function and says, okay, was.num1 converted as number. Same thing, drag and drop. So where.num2 is coming as number 2. Now we are done with the implementation. Time for testing it. So before testing, we need to run this. So I'll run this project. So the project is running. Meanwhile, I'll parallelly create the listener configuration details inside the Postman also. So I'll go to Postman, and I'll do is I'll use the getter post. It's localhost colon double slash, sorry, it's HTTP colon double slash localhost colon 8081 slash, let's see the name of the listener. So it says there, we remember we had a base path also. So you need to pass the base path there. Otherwise it will not recognize it. So I'm passing the base path and then the operation and the parameters. Num1 is equal to 90 and num2 is equal to 10. Yeah. So I'll show you two ways, like once with passing the base path and once without passing the base path. So let's see if this is deployed or not. So when I go to the console, it is almost deployed. Just let's give it a time and see, or let me run and see if this still works or not. See, This is not working because it is not yet deployed. So we'll just give it some more time. Yeah, now it says deployed. So it is ready for testing now. So let me run it. See, it has given me the output also. And it says the result is 100, which is 90 plus 10. Here we didn't expose the SOAP web service directly to the consumer. Instead exposed our own Mule endpoint. And this is how you do the uh, web service testing and development in Mulesoft. So as I said, now I'll remove this and see whether this will work or not. So I will click on it. It says there is no listener per endpoint because we said we need a base point base path need to be added for this particular endpoint. So if I now go back and add as 90, yeah, so it has added and given me the result here. So if I now go back and change the operation, so in the consume, right now I'm doing add, right? So what if I wanted to do subtract? Just subtract, and I have to change this path to, I mean, if for understanding purpose, we can keep it as add, or I'll keep it for now as add or sub. Yeah. So let's save it and give it some time to auto build. 1, 2, 3, and here it goes. It should go. So it is building in the background. So once the build is done, it will deploy it automatically. And then we are ready to invoke it. Let's give it some time. See, that's done it now. And I'll change it. And now if I run it, it will fail. See, it says the add is not present because I've changed it. Keep it as add or sub. 120 minus 190 will give me 0. See, it's given me the output saying that the subtract operation is called and the subtracted result is 0. So this is how you do it. Or else if you wanted to have separate operations for separate things, you can add something called mule configuration here. To finish. Yeah. And create separate service for add, create separate service for what do you say, the subtract. So this is how you can differentiate the services and add it. So thank you for listening. Hope you learned something new. Thank you.